So tell me, there are all sorts of stories that you've told us over the years. Obviously, you're in Cambridge. Tell me about going to find communists.
Oh yes, we had our admin instructor had just come back from service overseas in Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
so he was obsessed with communism, and so he instructed me to go down to Cambridge and see if I could find any communists.
How do you catch a communist?
Very good question, because certainly I didn't seem to catch any down in Cambridge, and he didn't seem to give me any instructions. But I'd had to go up to Gosford, just outside Cambridge again,
Mm-hmm.
for indoctrination as to how to find communists. But I didn't find any.
So what did they tell you? Well, how did they tell you how to find a communist? What are the telltale signs?
Oh, I can't remember.
I'd love to
There
know.
were two instructors, but I can't remember what instructions they gave me. But anyway, I didn't find any.
So you had a spell walking and being
I did that.
an elite walking athlete.
I did all sorts of things. Well, I'm quite ambitious in that way. Rather, unlike my other brother who did nothing in the RF, I seemed to do a lot, and I was only in for 2 years. I did find that track walking was good,
Yeah.
and so I walked locally on the station, and I won that track walking. I then went on to command, and I won. And I ended up finished in the first 3, I think, at command. So I went on to national, but there I found experienced walkers, and they wiped the floor with me. I finished nowhere.
That's one of my. I have a very early memory of you showing me your medal, your track walking medal from the
I
RAF.
have
Yeah,
I didn't collect medals.
No, but it was in a suitcase that was full of old bits and pieces from over the years. Wembley Lions,
I used to
Queen's Park
collect.
Rangers, and then there was this medal, or it wasn't a medal; it's more like a shield.
Yeah.
And you showed me it, and I've got very fond.
Well, I
memories of that.
didn't seem to collect medals, but I certainly collected football programs and hockey programs, ice skating, everything like that.
So the RAF career, how would you? That clearly played a big influence and a big part of you joining Courtaulds, because you walk in there with no qualifications but 2 years of national service
Yes.
and an experience there that must have just lifted you somehow into this traineeship.
Could be. It could be that I also had done 6 months in Hyde Park.
Yeah.
For the coronation, and I was on the coronation with my rifle aloft outside Woolworths
Yeah.
on Oxford Street. So, yes, it could be that it was an interesting career in Courtaulds, and I'm quite well spoken, so they thought reasonable chaps, we'll take him on. I joined as a potential.
Was that a deliberate choice? Your accent? Did you acquire? I know you had elocution lessons when you were at
Yes,
school.
I did.
But is that something that really you were determined to hold on to? Because you still.
It's quite. No, I really was quite unconscious. Was not aware of it at all. It just came naturally. My father was quite well spoken. So was my mother. My mother had 2 accents. I mean, depending on who she was with, and she was very well, because she had an affair with my stepbrother's father, who happened to be an officer in the army, and so she was quite well spoken when he was in our company, and
Mm-hmm.
and my father was quite well spoken, even though he came from Manchester. He didn't seem to have much of a Mancunian accent.
So he reinvented himself really when he came south.
I think so. Yes, he seemed to speak. He claimed that during the march from Manchester, the Barrow March, or Garrow March, when they were marching all the way down to London. He claimed that he was on it too, but I'm quite sure that he joined it at Kilburn and walked the last 2 miles
Of the Jarrow March.
The Jarrow March.
Excellent. Yes. Excellent. Just looking at time, we're doing really well here, Dad. I've got a question for you, which is about the. Do you think that coming out of the Second World War had been a class leveller for Britain and possibly Europe and possibly the world, but that possibly provided you with an opportunity that allowed you to have the incredible career that you had, and you're sitting here now in a lovely house and ride on the Isle of Wight, with you're relatively comfortable. You had a really good start, but that's always interested me as to you got a great start in life. Not deliberately, but just by a set of circumstances where you could walk into opportunities.
There were
almost classlessness. It struck me is that you could jump into that and be with the people that you were being with. Would you agree with me on that, or am I wrong? I don't know.
It would be lovely to think that. That was so. No, we're certainly not a classless. We are very much a class-ridden society.
Yeah.
And it's certainly so now in the current age as it was just after the war. And it's always, to me, it was staggering. Churchill was so powerful in us winning the war, no question of it at all. And there we are, a year later, we throw Churchill out and the Labour Party gets in with a majority of 195 seats. It does seem so strange that we can move from one class to another so quickly. No, we are class-ridden. It would be lovely to think that we have equal opportunities, but we don't. Our education system is class-ridden. And certainly industry is class-ridden.
The RAF?
But the RAF, I'm in no position to talk about it now because it's so long ago.
But at the time, it struck me that you were always very modest about your own abilities, but you talk about having these opportunities and being able to take those opportunities because of the way you are ambitious for yourself.
I think that the ambition is terribly important. I mean, I went with the RAF, I did lots of things, including I went to Eindhoven, Germany. And I went there because...
in Holland, isn't it?
In Holland.
No,
in Holland, correction.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. But I did go across to Germany. Eindhoven's pretty well on the border. But that came about because at night, on a night shift, the chap at one of our technologists, or technicians, had just got married, had just got engaged rather, and he was posted to Eindhoven. He said, I don't want to go. So I said, well, I'll go in your place. And this is about ambition. I wanted to do things. And so unlike my elder brother, who did nothing up in the RAF, and he was in for 3 years. In 2 years, I packed in one hell of a lot. And
So
Loved it.
I'm going to jump that ambition forward. There's tons more we can talk about, but I think as we sort of bring this to an end, you're still very ambitious. You've always been ambitious for us as your kids, and I know you are for my kids and your grandchildren. And that's always inherent, is that there's a, you know, getting on. And I feel it. I feel if I'm not making progress, I get frustrated. You're now 86, and you're at that part in your life where your health at the moment is really good, but have had a few challenges in the last few years. What's, for somebody who is as ambitious as you and has done as well as you, do you find that frustrating now that your body is...
No, quite the reverse. No, I'm very passive now. I'm not ambitious. I have a wonderful quality of life. And I'm surrounded by a wonderful family in all structures, and even the people who go off and marry outside the family seem to find excellent partners who adopt our values.
Yeah.
To a large extent.
And what are those values? Well, describe those
I
values.
like to think that socialism is a major part. It isn't also, as some of them move outside of that, but only sideways into green parties and such like.
Mm.
So socialism is a major part, but what other values are there? Health is critical to all of us.
Mm.
So the maintenance of a structure that is good for all the people is what you aim for, but don't necessarily achieve. You put what you can into charity, but it's your family that means everything to you, really, and long may be so.
Yeah. Well, this has been a lovely conversation.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
And I think we should finish there. We've covered a lot of things, and it's so lovely to hear you just talk and share that.
Absolutely.